guys, welcome to my channel. This is Divine Fashion Clothing and I'm wishing us happy new year. I pray that the blessings of God, riches, wealth, long life shall be our portion, that the heaven will open its doors of blessings and abundance upon us, and prosperity in whatever we lay our hands upon. So and we want to say a big thank you to all our YouTube subscribers, our customer, and all our tester. Thank you so much. You have been an amazing people in our life. Without you loving us, without you supporting us, without your loyalty, we would not have come thus far. Thank you so much, and we pray that God bless you in all your endeavor. I'm sure you are already falling in love with the bag you are seeing with me today. This is Dupsy Bag pattern. The width of the bag is 10.5 inches. The height is 8 inches. The bag comes with two types of flap. We have flap with Foxy 4 fabric, as you have seen earlier, and the flap without Foxy 4 fabric. So with Foxy 4, without Foxy 4, the bag is adorable, lovely, and amazing. It's a very quick made bag. It's a bag you will fall in love with. You can see. And it's a 3-compartment bag. The front pocket, the middle pocket, and the main compartment. The main compartment comes with slip pocket and zipper pocket. And you can rock the bag anyhow you feel like rocking it. You can carry it as handbag, shoulder bag, crossbody bag. You can carry it as crossbody bag. You can carry it anyhow you feel like carrying it. And the bag is very portable in size, very portable. It's like a medium size bag. So come along with me as we begin the video tutorial for this bag. Thank you as you are joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check our website for various type of patterns, bag patterns. So thank you. On the wrong side of the panels, align the interfacing to their corresponding panels. Sew around the panels with 1/8 0.3 centimeters. The main panel, front panel, one flap panel, bottom panels, and side panels. Please note, for this bag pattern, there are two sides of interface, full interface and short interface. I use full interface for this video because the interface I use is a lightweight interface. If you are using a thicker interface, please, I will advise you use the short interface in order to avoid bulky side seam. And to prevent wrinkles when turning out with interfacing, do not iron, except you use the interfacing that will not wrinkles when you turn out the bag. The interface I use for this video will wrinkle the bag if I turn it out. That's why I had to sew around the interface to the wrong side of the panels. On the wrong side of the main panels, front panels, side panels, and front panel lining, I mark a line of 3/4 at the top edges of each panels. On the wrong side of the flap panel with interfacing, I will mark 1/2 1.3 cm line at the top edge, and I will cut along the line that I mark, and this will be the lining or inner flap. Now, I will transfer the magnetic snap placement on the flap pattern piece to the right side of the flap panel with interfacing. The bottom edges of the pattern piece and the flap must align. I will use my erasable marking pen to mark the placement of the magnetic snap, and I will go ahead and attach my magnetic snap, the male parts, to the placement mark. And I will flip the piece to the wrong side, and I will cover the prong with duct tape or interfacing to prevent wears in the future. On the wrong side of the piping strap, I will place the piping cord on the strap straight and centered, and I will leave a space of 1 inches 1.27 on the short edges of the piping strap, top and bottom. Please note, if you are using Foxy 4 fabric for your flap panel, check the written PDF pattern for instruction on how to attach the Foxy 4. This video is for piping strap and not for Foxy 4 fabric. I will take the flap panel with magnetic snap and interfacing, and I will align the edges of the piping strap around the curved edge of the flap panel right side together. I will clip around to hold down. And I will sew around with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. Now, I will align the two flap panels right side together, and I will sew around the curved edge with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance. After stitching, I will turn the piece right side out. I will turn the piece to the right side. I will top stitch around the seams with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance. I ran the curve on the right side, and I will top stitch again with 3/8 1 centimeter seam allowance to form double stitching on the right side of the flap panel. Now, at the bottom of the flap panel, I will fold over the edges of the long flap wrong side together to meet the edge of the short flap, which is the inner flap or lining flap. I will achieve this by adding glue or double-sided tape to the wrong side of the long flap. I will grab the 3 piping cord and the 3 piping straps. On the wrong side of the 3 piping straps, I will place each piping cord on each strap straight and centered, and I will leave a space of 3/4 2 centimeters on the short edges of the 3 strap, top and bottom. I will cover the piping cord with the straps using glue or double-sided tape to the wrong side of the 3 strap, and I'll fold strap wrong side together lengthwise to enclose the piping cord. When I'm done, I will set the piping cord aside for now. On the wrong side of one front panel, I will transfer the magnetic snap placement on the front pattern piece. Using the erasable marking pen to mark the placement for the magnetic snap placement, the female part, I will attach the snap to the placement mark, and I will turn to the wrong side. I will cover prongs with duct tape or interfacing to prevent wears in the future, and I will set it aside now. I will grab the remaining front panel, and I will transfer the placement line on the front pattern piece to the wrong side of the panel by cutting out the placement line out from the pattern piece. On the right side of the front panel with placement line, I will align one piping strap around the curved edge of the panel. I will clip to hold down, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. I will start to sew at each end of the piping cord in the strap and at the end of the piping. I will repeat this step for the other two main panels. On the right side of one main panel, I will mark a line of 1 1/2 3.8 cm down from the top and also mark the center line. To get the placement for the flap panel. I will place the completed flap panel on the line mark straight and center. I will sew on the placement mark with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance, and I will top stitch again with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance to form double stitching. The flap panel will be right side up on the right side of the back main panel. Flap will be positioned so it is hanging over the edge of the back main panel. On the right side of the remaining main panel, I will place the front panel with piping and placement line, right side together on the main panel straight and centered. The bottom edge will align. I will sew on the mark line together with the main panel. I will sew on the placement line on the wrong side of the front panel. I will sew on the two sides and the bottom. Now, I will take the front panel with magnetic snap and I will align it right side together with the front panel on the main lining. I will align it around the curved edge and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will fold the piping strap at 90-degree angles, 1 1/2 1.27 cm from each end of the front panel, and the main panel is tucked inside and out of the way while I sew around the front panel. I will trim off the excess piping strap. I have folded at 90 degree and I will turn out the piece. I will turn the piece to the right side. I will turn the piece right side out. On the wrong side of the two connectors, I will mark a 3/8 line 1 centimeter around the edges, and I will press in place the interfacing to the wrong side of the panel. I will fold in wrong side together on the mark line around the entire connector panel. I will use double-sided tape or glue to hold down. And I will slide in the D-ring to the center of the panels. And I will fold the panels into two by aligning the bottom edges wrong side together. And I will use glue or double-sided tape to hold the folding down together. And I will clip. Now I will get the side connector placement by placing the side pattern piece on the right side of the side panel. I will take the two D-rings connector and place them on the mark line on the side panel. The connectors should line up with the line, and I will sew around the two connectors with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. And I will make sure that the bottom of the D-ring will be at the top of the line marked. I will grab the base panel, and at the two short side edges, I will align each bottom edge of the side panels right side together, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance on each side. I will turn the raw edges on each side toward the base panel on the wrong side of the piece, and I will top stitch on the right side of the base panel with 1/8 seam allowance. Now, I will grab the main panel that I attached the front panel with. I will align one side of the base panel with the side panels, edges around the curve side of the piece. I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance right side together. I will fold the piping at 90-degree angles, 1/2 1.2 cm from each end of the panels. I will repeat step for the remaining main panel with flap panel and the other sides of the side panel with base panel. I will cut out the excess piping strap on each side of the piece. And I will turn the piece to the right side. I will turn the piece right side out. Now I will fold in the edges to make the mark line around the piece, both on the main panel and the front panel. Now we have our exterior done. Let's move to the interior parts of the bag. I will take the slip pocket lining and I will fold it top to bottom, right side together. I will sew on the sides with 1/4 0.6 centimeters and I will trim corners down. I will turn the piece to the right side and I will place the slip pocket binding right side together on the top of the pocket and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. I will fold the binding over to the raw edges and clip and I will top stitch along the seams on the right side. I will cut off excess binding to be even with the sides. I will take one main lining right side up and I will place the slip pocket right side up in the center. I will leave a 1 inches 2.5 centimeter space from the top edge. I will sew with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance on the two sides and the bottom of the slip pocket. I will set this aside now. For the zipper pocket, I will take the other main lining right side up and I will place the zipper overlay right side up in the center and I will also leave a space of 1 inches 2.5 centimeter space from the top edge and I will sew around the outside with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam. Now I will use the zipper overlay opening to cut out the opening in the lining and I will set aside. I will place one zipper pocket lining right side up and I will place the zipper tape right side up on top of it and match the top edge and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. I will sew the other edges of the zipper tape to the remaining zipper pocket lining top edges, the same as above, and I will add my zipper pull now. On the wrong side of the pocket linings, I will open away from the zipper tape. I will hold the edges down with double-sided tape or sew around to hold down. The pocket lining will be wrong side up and the zipper is right side up. Now I will place the zipper overlay pocket opening over to the zipper right side up and center. I will keep the pocket pieces open. I will sew the entire way around the zipper window with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will flip the piece to the wrong side. I will match the pocket lining together and I will sew the pocket lining from one side to the bottom and up to the other side with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. Now I will trim off extra as needed and I will set aside. Now I will take the two upper linings. On the wrong side, I will mark a 3/4 line 2 cm at the top edge lengthwise. I will place the bottom edges of one upper lining at the top edges of one main lining right side together and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will top stitch along the main lining with the seam facing down on the right side. I will repeat step for the remaining piece, the other main lining and the other upper lining. I will now place the two completed lining right side together. I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance on the two sides and the bottom. I will match the square area of the bottom together and sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance, the center seam on the sides and the bottom must align. Now I will fold in the top edges of the upper lining to meet the lined mark wrong side together by adding double-sided tape or glue to the wrong side of the upper lining. I will take the two front panel linings. I will sew the cuff side with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance right side together, and I will also fold in the top edges to meet the line marked around the front pocket linings. I will insert the completed lining into the completed main panel wrong side together, and I will hold with clip. I will sew with 1/8 0.3 cm seams, and I will repeat step for the front panel and front lining. I will repeat step for the remaining compartments by sewing around at the top edge with 1/8 seam allowance as neatly as I can. Now we are done with the bag. You can see how beautiful and how lovely it's on out. I love it. Let's move to the handle strap panel now. On the panel's handle, I will mark a center line down the length on the wrong side of the strap. I will fold each long edges to the center line. I will clip in place using double-sided tape or glue. I will slide in the O-ring or D-rings and unfolding just a little on each short end. I will align the short ends right side together. I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will open the seams and fold the long edges back to the center, and I will clip in place. Now I will fold the handle strap wrong side together. The strap will now be 22.5, 57.2 centimeter long. The seams on the strap will be at the centers, and I will push each O-ring or D-ring to the ends of the strap, and I will hold down. I will hold down with clip. I will sew on the strap with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance around all sides, and sewing as close to the D-rings or O-rings as I can. If you use 4C4 fabric for your handle and for your flap, it is now for you to insert the handle panel through the opening on the 4C4 fabric for your handle. Now I will divide the chain into 2 equal parts and insert on each D-ring or O-rings on the handle panel. And I will also connect the chains to each D-rings on the sides of the sides panel of the bag. And finally we are through with the Dupsy bag. You can see how lovely, how gorgeous, how amazing the bag is. It's a bag you will fall in love with. Thank you for joining me for this tutorial. Happy sewing.